Today I'm going to talk about my volunteering experience in the Maldives. Just a little heads up before I start making any explanations. I'm going to do this video fully in English because I want this video to be for everyone who wants to watch it. This will not just be for the Portuguese people who want to volunteer around the world, but also any person who wants to do it. So for anyone that doesn't know me personally, I had this dream about volunteering abroad for 3 or 4 years. As soon as I got into college, I knew I wanted to volunteer. When I started researching, I found out this website that was called volunteerworld.com. This is actually a very good website because it shows you every volunteer opportunity around the world, the best prices, it shows you the accommodation, if you have food included. And this year in July, when I finished my bachelor's degree in biochemistry, I was pretty certain that I was going to do a gap year before I start my master's, because I have no idea what my master's will be, and do all of these life experiences that I knew I wanted to do and I knew that I needed most of all. The research deeply started around August. That's when I started looking further into it. As I said, I started with Volunteer World, and I really wanted to do volunteer with animals, and the most appealing to me was the marine turtles or elephants. I talked to my parents, and my mother super freaked out about the elephant ideas, so I was stuck with the marine turtles, which is not bad. And I searched and searched and searched, and there was a lot of programs with marine turtles in Costa Rica. I think that's where they have the arribadas. I don't know if that's how you call it. Arribadas. I was still not satisfied with my options, so my next step was starting to look at reviews of people who already went to volunteer, and I found out this video of this Australian couple, and they sum it up to the top 10 best experiences they had with volunteering. And these top 10 experiences were all set and organized by this one company that was Go Eco, and they had in those top 10 experiences, they had 2 experiences with marine turtles. The first one was in Costa Rica, as I said, and the second one, which for them was in the top 1, was volunteering in the Maldives. So I went to their website, and both were really appealing to me. I scheduled a call with them because Go Eco is very organized in terms of their website. They tell you how will be your daily routine, their weekly routine. They tell you what they are going to offer and what they don't, like flights, visas, vaccination in case you need it. They tell you what are the requirements. And I really like the aspect that when you go to their website, they ask you to select the number of weeks that you are planning to stay with them, and they tell you the exact value that you will have to pay to go there. And they ask you to schedule a call with them so they can see if you meet the requirements. They give you a small interview to see if you are adapted for this program in specific, and then they tell you a bunch of other things. I scheduled my call, and I ended up going with the Maldives. I told Go Eco, and we started making our first arrangements for the trip. And they said, okay, so we have to inform the local team that is there, that is called Atoll Volunteers, about my application, so they could confirm it so that I could buy plane tickets. 2 weeks before they finally confirmed my application, I bought my plane tickets, and Zoe, which is part of Go Eco, she made a WhatsApp group with me to plan my whole trip, and this WhatsApp group was going to be my emergency hotline in case I had any issues or problems while staying there. I officially left on the 5th of October of 2021, and I was going to arrive at the 6th, and this center was established in the Nafaru. I'm gonna say Nafaru, and I'm gonna hope this is right. So it was on the north side of the capital, which is Male. And I had to go to Male and then catch the ferry, which was 3 hours long, to Nafaro. I was not freaking out that much until I arrived. I had the most insane experience of my life. I arrived, I was alone, I had my bag, and we had to go through immigration. And when I went through immigration, they were not, like, they were suspecting me so much because I don't know why, because I arrived there alone and I was saying, oh, I'm staying at a friend's house, all that stuff, and they were not believing me. They were, I don't know what my face demonstrated, and they stopped me twice in the immigration. They interrogated me like crazy, and then I went to get my bag and they stopped me again and they asked to see my bag, and they questioned me about my book. They looked at my passport so many times. I was going like crazy, worried that I was going to get in jail for doing nothing. But I got through. That was my cat. Then I waited for the arrival of Emma, who was the new volunteer coordinator, and we finally got together. And oh my god, when we got to the ferry, it was the worst experience of my entire life. For anyone who doesn't know me, I am shit scared of airplane turbulence after that boat trip. Airplane turbulence is nothing. It's absolutely nothing. It was 3 hours long, and in that day particularly, it was extremely windy, so the waves were so freaking big, and the drivers of the ferries keep the boat at max velocity on the ocean, plain, like open ocean. I must have thought that I was gonna die like every 5 minutes, but the drivers were really nice. They thought we were feeling sick, so they brought water to us, they brought us bags in case we wanted to puke. They were really nice about it, even because we were clearly the tourists there. And I arrived safe as I could be and sound to the island. We had Rina and Kanma waiting for us. Rina was the veterinary who is there still, and Kanma who founded the center. We went to our accommodation. I slept for like 14 hours and I woke up with no jet lag, which was pretty good. I had an incredible time. I stayed there for 3 weeks. We only had one day off, which was Saturday. And on our work days, we typically, the thing that we had to do, like most of the time, cleaning the tanks, which were full with turtle poop. We also had to feed them on, I think on Thursdays and Tuesdays, we had to give them vitamins and a bunch of other things that sometimes they missed from their diet or stuff like that. So we had to do that every day. And on our days off, so the times Kanma, if the weather was good, he would organize expeditions outside of the island. So we got to go to the deserted island every Saturday for the first 2 Saturdays. And on my last Saturday, I saw a shark swimming just right next to me. Because I am a terrible vlogger, I don't have much videos of my experience there. So the last day, I convinced Rina, which is an absolute sweetheart and I love her to death. I love you, Rina, if you're watching this video. I made Rina explain to you guys in the video the turtles and each condition that they had and why they were there and a bunch of other curiosities. So I'm gonna leave the video now for you to see.
Hi, my name is Dr. Rina Jaffe. I am a doctor of veterinary medicine. It's a miracle that happened. And I am the lead veterinarian for the Atoll Marine Center. This doesn't say Atoll Marine Center, it says Conservation Center, but we are Conservation Center. Woohoo! Run by Nafaro Juvenile on the local island of Nafaro in the Maldives. Great. And we're gonna go learn about some turtles. This turtle, who you can see, is trying to get away and is very, not necessarily happy, a little stressed out, experiencing some stereotypical behaviors of trying to swim away from us and may end up pacing this tank. That's my intro to Nessie.
Talk us about the turtle that hates us the most.
Nessie, she doesn't hate us the most. She hates captivity the most. This is really just not a normal living situation for these guys. They normally travel all over the world. So this is, less than ideal. But Nessie is our biggest turtle. She is an olive ridley turtle. She's a female, an adult female. And she came to us strangled in a ghost net, and this one was like literally was around her neck. If we get any close-up shots, you can actually see the scar that goes all the way around her neck. Yeah. And if you hear her breathe, she has a very hoarse breathing sound, and that's why they called her Nessie, because she's named after the Loch Ness Monster. She is very buoyant. She's inappropriately floating at the top of the surface of the water, where these guys should be able to dive down to the very bottom of the ocean. That's where they get their food from. That's where they sleep and get safety. And they need to be able to freely dive, come back up for air, and then be able to dive right back down. But secondary to her injuries, she has a chronic buoyancy issue where she cannot dive to the bottom of her tank. If we can get Nessie to a point where she can dive on her own, that's really the only thing that we need in order to release her. You can see she's trying to dive. Like, she doesn't like us. She wants to get away from us. The safe place for these guys is under the water. So when she swims, she's trying to dive down with her front flippers and trying to get deep into the water, but she's got this buoyancy that has trapped air somewhere in her body that just won't let her sink. So I'm trying, but I can't make it. Yeah.
10 points for effort.
This is Cece. Cece, you can't really see right now because she's on the bottom of her tank, which is a very good and new discovery because she was buoyant, just like Nessie. She could only float on the top. She could dive down to get her food, but she couldn't stay down. And I think last week? Last week we started seeing her sleeping on the bottom of her tank, coming up and down from the surface, which is something she really wasn't able to do a whole lot previously. And now she is just resting on the bottom of her tank, which is perfect because that's all we needed to release her. So we are planning on releasing her today. And oh, she's thinking about coming up maybe? That's fine if she doesn't. We'll see her later.
She's coming up.
Yeah, she comes.
Slowly, slowly. She's coming to say hi. There she is.
There she is. Hey, beautiful girl. She doesn't even know the amazing things that are about to happen today. Olga. This is Olga. Olga is another fully grown female olive ridley turtle. She was also brought to us entangled in ghost net. She lost one flipper in said entanglement. Can you come here? Hi.
No pressure.
You can see her little stub moving. She is wearing a t-shirt that we have retrofitted with pockets to put weights in to help lower her into the water column, because that increase in pressure should theoretically help with her buoyancy. This is Juanita. Juanita is currently my most challenging medical case. Missing a flipper, that has since healed. She is obviously very buoyant, but then she has a very abnormal outward growth of her shell that has made her unsymmetrical, and the shell itself is abnormal. It's soft in certain places where it shouldn't be. It should literally be bone hard because it is fused rib cage. It's bone. We've tried to do some x-rays on her, but when we do x-rays, we have to take them to the local human hospital to get them done because we don't have an x-ray machine here, and it can be a little difficult to get all the shots that we really want to have our diagnostic pictures. So I do not know exactly what's going on with Juanita. This is Hope. You can tell that Hope has a shell deformity that is pretty severe. She is a juvenile green sea turtle who's got a little mark on her head. She does swim pretty good for a turtle who's literally folded in half.
She likes butt rubs.
Everybody likes butt rubs. Massage these little flippers, flipper massage. Hope is a permanent resident here because she cannot be released given her shell deformity. We don't know completely why that deformity happens, but there is one study that showed that almost 70% of hatchling turtles that were raised in captivity eventually developed this type of shell deformity, where what's happening is there's some kind of inflammation at the level of the growth plate in the shell when they're babies. And because of that inflammation, the growth plate fuses and doesn't continue to grow with the rest of the body like it should. So the top of the shell stops growing. Meanwhile, the bottom of the shell continues to grow. So as the bottom of the shell grows and the animal gets bigger and bigger, essentially they fold over on themselves because the top is not growing with the bottom. It does pretty severely shorten their life expectancy. In the study that I found, they were expected to live between 4 and 5 years, where normally this would be like a 50 to 80 plus year old turtle. So they don't even reach sexual maturity with this deformity, and they can't be released because they're not streamlined, and they just get kicked around in the current. They end up drowning. This is Tom. Tom is another double amputee, Olive Ridley. Tom's a boy. He has these weights, diving weights, stuck to him to, again, try to lower him in the water column and help him move around easier. They have helped a lot, actually. He used to be more at an area where his whole head was almost out of the water at all times, but now he's mostly submerged on his head. So they are helping. We're hoping to get him to a place where he can dive down to the bottom and live a more normal turtle life, even as a double amputee turtle. The goal for him would be to find an aquarium or some such facility that would be willing to house him for the rest of his life so that he can live a happy life, but still be taken care of, because his disabilities do limit his abilities a little bit. This is Donnie. Donnie has the same shell deformity as Hope. So Donnie's about 4 years old, reaching kind of near the end of the life expectancy for this type of deformity in this turtle. One of our more social turtles, because he's been here his entire life. He really also likes the butt rubs and the foot massages and the flipper massages. This is Laura. Laura is also a double amputee Olive Ridley turtle. So was trapped in ghost net that cuts off the circulation to the tissues of the flippers, because if you think about them swimming forward like this, they get stuck with their flippers in their head in the ghost net, cuts off circulation, that tissue dies and then essentially just falls off, which I imagine is a very painful, terrible process, but they handle it like champions. A very friendly turtle, likes butt scratches, likes to get his shell cleaned, likes to go out on sea swims for adventures, and is very sociable, and we would love to find a permanent home for him.
So Rena,
yes.
How do they come to the Maldives?
Oh my God, we're breaking the fourth wall. The director has spoken and actually asked an interview question. Okay, so Olive Ridley sea turtles, they're a deep water, deep ocean species that we don't see a lot here in the Maldives. They don't nest here. So the nesting turtles, that we do have here are hawksbill, the green. We have leatherbacks, but we don't really see them a whole lot because they're also more in the open ocean, and we do have some loggerheads here as well. What happens with these guys, and the reason that we have like the majority of our turtles here are Olive Ridley turtles, is because when they get trapped up in the ghost nets that are in the ocean, when they get entangled in the ghost net, they become stuck. They cannot dive like they normally would. They can't swim through the current and navigate the ocean like they normally would. They become buoyant. Monsoon winds drift them into the Maldives, and that they end up here just by the wind and the current.
So Rena is an absolute sweetheart. I had tons of fun. Emma is such a great woman too. She was super caring. They were all worried about me all the freaking time. Emma was really observant of this fact that most of the time she would ask me and Chantel which activities we would like to do the most. She's a very good volunteer coordinator. But overall, it was a very fun experience, and I got to see the real Maldives, not the Maldives full of resorts that everybody knows it. There's actually a lot of culture in the Maldives. It's rewarding to know a culture and see the world as it is, because sometimes it is not what we think it is. So I really do hope that you get inspired, that you search a bit more for yourself, for experiences. I hope you like this video. I truly hope that it was useful in some way. If you have any questions about volunteering abroad that I have not answered, you can leave them below. I hope you had a good time watching this video, and if you go volunteering abroad, I hope you have the greatest time of your life. If you are very kind, you can also follow me on my social media, which are also in the links of the description below. I hope to see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!
God, my toes are...
got this on camera.
More B-roll. More. My trainer would always record stuff that we would do to put it on his YouTube page. And he would start recording, and then I would just start talking to him, and it would drive him fucking nuts. It's just all this film of me talking, not lifting. I love it. This is a shout out to him. Max Gordon Fitness saved my life. Just keep that in so I can send that to him.